Okay, for a little change. Yes, move the tables around. And we're going to have, from now on, we'll have 2 meetings a month. The first one will be the work session, first Wednesday. And the second Wednesday will be our regular meeting. So what I'd like to do is call the meeting to order. Joanne, would you give us a roll call, please?
Mrs. Cassatt. Here. Mr. Damascus. Mr. Hardwick.
Here.
Mr. Camus.
Here.
Mr. Keating.
Here.
Mr. Majer. Mr. Perfetto.
Here.
Mr. Pazinski.
Here.
Mr. Usavich.
Here. Please stand for a moment of silence, followed by a salute to the flag. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, the superintendent isn't here, and so we won't have any superintendent comments. Statements from interested citizens. It's interesting. From interested citizens. Citizens addressing the board are asked to state their name, town of residence in accordance with board policy 903. Copies available. Statements are limited to 3 minutes. Anybody want to take a chance? Nobody, I suppose. All right. Nobody's here. This might be the way to do it. Okay, general recommend. Oh, I'm sorry.
Before this meeting, executive session was held to discuss personnel items and. Thank you.
Okay. General recommended action. Resolution presented to the board for action. Discuss the real estate property tax exemption through the Pennsylvania State Veterans Commission for the following as presented. James Angley, Patrick Fogarty, Elmer Zimmerman, Richard J. Sapolis, Nancy Coach, Helen M. Hazeltine. Any questions about that? Discuss agreement between Wyoming Valley West School District and KDP Digital Photography to approve the high school yearbook photography contract as presented.
I guess I would ask a quick question. Looking through that, did I see the proposal as $0?
I can see that.
I thought it was very generous.
He's been doing it for a while for the
Has he?
district, as far as I'm concerned, as far as.
I just wanted to make sure. It's the first time I had ever dealt with a photography contract.
Nothing here.
On the end, it actually
It's all
has a
zeros.
zero.
It's all zeros.
Well, that's the interesting part. There's 10% of the proceeds go back to the class.
Okay.
It's zero.
Right.
Oh, thanks. Making some picture.
It's right here. This contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see anything in there.
There was nothing in it.
Right.
I would certainly say we put that on the voting session next week.
Okay, number 3, discuss advertisement for bids to be received and opened at the district office on Tuesday, May 10th, 2022 at 11 a.m. 22 for 2022 and 2023. And those items would be interscholastic sports supplies, paper and general supplies. Any questions there? Okay, discuss item 4, discuss the new policy second reading as presented. Section 800, operations, title, naloxone, number 823. Any questions?
Is there anyone on the question, I guess, is there anyone who could explain a little bit? I mean, I understood what I read, but it seems there's a value to it. Is there anyone who can explain the policy?
Oh, the policy.
Yeah,
I don't know that. Naloxone. You know what naloxone is used for, right?
yeah.
Okay.
This will be permission.
For the nurse, I think the school nurse.
Right, to
To-
spray it.
That's what I thought I understood. Okay.
Number 5, discuss refund of paid taxes for the year 2020 for the following property owner. Hogan and Associates PC court order number 2015-12996. The amount is $8,472.10.
I believe this is Hogan and Associates. These are their clients that they represented these.
They're the attorneys, yes.
But
That's Frank Hagan, I believe, yes.
I believe it's Frank's just the attorney that
Correct.
represented them.
It's Green Acre, I think it's Green Acre Apartments.
That's what 5 is. Yeah. And then I don't know what 6, there's the multiple properties in number 6. Or actually, that'd be the same property because it'd be multiple years.
Lars, is there any way to know for the record who the property owners are?
So, yeah, I mean, we can pull the it's right here.
It's on here.
It's SDK Green Acres, the board of SDK Green Acres.
Bill, that's all of the townhome complex on Third Avenue, right past Rudder.
Yep.
That's what this is.
Okay.
All right, let's go to number 7, discuss committee reports. Athletic Committee, Brian is not here. Building and Grounds Committee, Rick, Mr. Camus.
Yeah, so we received our new express van from Fonda Chevrolet. That was one thing. I'm also asking if the Essers Committee could get together one day, potentially next week, to discuss a few things. That's Third Ave, roof at Skylar, a couple other little things, so we can start wrapping some of this up. So I'm asking sometime late next week if possible. I'll shoot an email out this week. We'll see what everybody's availability is. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Education Committee, I have nothing. Finance Committee, Mr. Keating.
Just a few things, Mr. Yusavage. The Finance Committee has been working actively with Mr. Cardoni and members of the administration over the past month, just trying to get a jump start on a preliminary outlook for the 2022-2023 budget. And the news, as discussed, is not good at this time. We're looking at, and Mr. Cardoni is pretty firm on these numbers, plus or minus whether or not we get any additional state revenue when that budget's passed. But we're looking at a gap of $4,249,000 in necessary revenues needed to balance next year's budget if nothing's done to trim expenses. And that's very concerning because there's nothing really that we can do with the revenue side of the coin. The revenues are what they are and may change hopefully to the good if there's an increase in state dollars. With that being said, at least with what we've been able to look at, each and every year since 2014, when the last report was done by the Auditor General's office, the deficit spending has been to the average of $1,091,839. And on top of that number, there was a deficit of $985,000 budgeted in the 2020-2021 budget, and then $1,146,308 in the 2021-2022 budget. So what's really concerning to the Finance Committee is that in 2014, the district had a positive fund balance of $439,272. And right now, that fund balance, when you look at what was put in this year's budget of the 1,146,000, the actual fund balance shifted from positive 4,439,000 to negative 5,585,000 since 2014. And I'm convinced that we cannot continue any further on this path, that we need to make decisions, and we need to make them soon. And when you're looking at a budget of $90 million, the only place to start cutting right now, or cutting and or saving, is on the expense side. Now, I will credit the administration. We met with them last Friday, and they came up with a plan that's not confirmed yet at this point in time, that may potentially, and I want to use the word at this time, may potentially be able to trim 2.2 million off of that 4.2. But there are things that need to be confirmed through the business manager, and there are some what ifs with that. So I think that number's on the high end, and either way, and I think I didn't say this, but it's very important that everyone knows this, is that $4,249,000 deficit between revenues, budgeted revenues, and budgeted expenses includes a 4.2% index tax increase for next year. So that's putting in, assuming that we raised taxes by the index, we are still $4.2 million short of meeting our expenses. If the administration's plan proves accurate or close to accurate, then there's still $2 million, north of $2 million that we will need to come up with to balance the budget. Simply put, the budget is not self-sustaining right now. We cannot move this way in the future. There are a lot of decisions that need to be made across all spectrums of the district. That's the Finance Committee's report for this evening. And next week, we hope to discuss this deeper in executive session.
Thank you, Mr. Peter. Contracts and Personnel Committee. I'm sorry, Technology and Communications Committee. Brian is not here. Contracts and Personnel Committee, Mr. Keating again.
Again, Mr. Yusavage, there's nothing to report on that other than I think we've all collectively agreed that we're kind of in a hiring freeze until we can determine the true magnitude of our deficit of budgeted revenues compared to expenses, and hopefully we can make some headway with this.
Thank you. Esther's American Rescue Plan Grant Committee, Mr. Hardwick.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Very briefly, our committee was tasked with, since our last meeting, putting together the ESSERS 3 application and making sure that it was submitted prior to the end of March. That was completed. That application involves about a $14.5 million allocation. That was submitted a few days prior to the deadline. We're waiting on feedback and approval from that. And yes, Mr. Camus, our groups will get together next week and see what we can do between buildings, grounds, and ESSERS. The only thing I would add, sir, is I have the pleasure through this board of being assigned to the Hoyt Library Board. We did meet in the month of March. I had my introductory meeting with the group. And I don't have that much to report other than to say I'm getting my feet on the ground over there, and we had a meeting in March.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, number 8, discuss refund of paid taxes for the year 2021 for the following property owner: Edwardsville Mall LP, court order number 2017-13341. And that is for $21,379.97 tax. I'm sorry, 97 cents.
So, may I speak to this one?
Certainly.
So this was actually already approved by the district at the prior meeting. This is for the Lowe's property. There was litigation over that. They identified the school district served Hazelton School District back in 2017 instead of Wyoming Valley West. Based upon that, we worked out a deal and they agreed to keep the valuation the same for 17, 18, 19. And so this is just the refund for the last school year as part of the deal that was worked out. After looking at it and having the appraiser look at it and assess the value, it was determined that litigation was not in the district's best interest.
Thank you very much. Let's go to, I'm sorry. Discuss the agreement pursuant to file number 1615. Lars, do you know what that is?
I do not know. Okay, so number 9 and number 10 are special ed litigation resolutions.
Discuss the extension of agreement with Aramark for fiscal year 2022-2023 with a guarantee of $107,000 as presented.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
do you think we could have a representative of Aramark here to give us a brief presentation on this?
Absolutely.
I'm not exactly certain what it is, and I know 2 years ago it was at 150 and now we're down to 107. So I'm just,
Right.
I mean, it would help me, or maybe she can give us a little bit better description. I mean, I read the agreement, but I'm just not quite understanding all of it.
I'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, let's go to staff recommended action. Resolutions presented to the board for action. Discuss additions to current substitute list. They include Ann Saxton and Kylie Loudenslager. Number 2, discuss request for excused absences, March 1st through March 31st, 2022. Number 3, discuss compensation to professional staff members as presented. 18 credits beyond a bachelor's degree, master's equivalency, and beyond a master equivalency for courses approved by the superintendent.
So as for this one, I'll take a look at the CBA and report back to you guys.
Okay.
On that.
Thank you. Discuss upon completion of the 2021-2022 school year, as per negotiated agreement, all remaining monies due for the school year in one lump sum in the last pay of this fiscal year to professional employees as presented. Oh, okay, gotcha. Okay, it ends today, so we'll have that for next week.
Do you want me to explain to the new board members?
Yeah. Would you please?
For the new board members, this is just instead of taking a payment out for the 12 months, the teachers can take a payment for 10 months.
Okay,
All right.
thank you.
Discuss appointing the following middle school teacher mentor. And that would be Nina Owen, who will mentor Sarah Whalen. Discuss resignation with regret due retirement last day of 2021-2022 school year, and Crompton Middle School English. Discuss resignation with regret due retirement Kim Marie Alfano, Director of Transportation, last day June 29, 2022. Discuss appointing the following employees. Sheila Glazer, Dana Street Cleaner, effective March 7th, 2022, $12 per hour. Sarah Furbish, Schuyler Avenue, Autistic Support Aide, effective March 7th, 2022, $12 an hour. Lynn Klingerman, Nurse Assistant, Floater, effective March 7th, 2022, $100 a day. Margaret Sittler, State Street Autistic Support Aide, effective March 21st, 2022, $12 per hour. Let's see. Okay. Rita Lynn Palchanis, State Street Emotional Support Aide from Sub Floating PCA, effective March 16th, 2022, $12 per hour. And Marianne Saris, Dana Street Computer Aide from General Duty Aide, Dana Street, effective March 24th, 2022. Any questions on any of those?
Nope.
Number 9, discuss accepting the following resignations. Julia Jonah Lunas, PCA State Street, effective March 4th, 2022. Kanaya Pugh, Computer Aide, Dana Street, effective March 17th, 2022. Jamie Bartu, E-Support Aide, State Street, effective March 18th, 2022. Vaughn Torito, Cleaning Person, Middle School, effective March 25th, 2022. James Wilkins, Custodian at the High School, effective February 25th, 2022. Number 10, discuss settlement of the unfair labor practice charge filed by the Support Staff Association regarding employee number 752327 in the amount of $8,000.
Okay, so, should I make a suggestion?
Sure.
So instead of reading all of them, why don't you just say, does anyone want to discuss like item number 11?
Okay,
Item number 12, and maybe to save you some time.
it will save me a lot of time. Okay, number 11, number 12, and number 13. Anybody interested in talking about anything there? All right. Number 14, discuss the school board secretary, superintendent, secretary replacement. Okay, I don't know where we're going with this.
I think Mr. Tosh should be here to explain. I mean,
Yeah, he will
we
be
should
next week.
defer that to him.
Thank you.
Yeah, good idea.
Discuss updated dress code as presented. We'll save all that stuff for next week, I guess. Finance recommended action. Resolutions presented to the board for action. Accept and approve the following as presented. Bills for payment, finance manager's reports, and treasurer's report.
Just for clarity purposes, that's not for acceptance today. It's just
Right. And number 8, board members' comments. Any comments from anybody?
If I'm, you go ahead.
No, go ahead. Up to you, sir.
I just want to make a comment. Mr. Key, thank you for your report and your work, Lou, your work on putting the report together. I took an opportunity to go through the performance audit that was conducted by the the Auditor General's office. It was completed for the school years of, it's 5 school years ending 2018, and the report was provided in 2019. I just wanted to make sure that the board understood and those who are listening understood that I don't believe that this is anything that just all of a sudden happened. On page 8 of this report, it talks about the general fund balance. And if I may, I'm just going to read. The district's general fund balance did not meet best practices at any time during the audit period. Further, the district's $71,916 general fund balance as of June 30th, 2018 is significantly less than the fund balance recommended by the GFOA. I believe that's the government, I'm not sure the acronym, but government funding, which the formula is 2 months of regular general fund operating revenues or regular general operating expenditures and operating transfers out. Goes on to say, as of June 30th, 2018, the district has less than 1 day of expenditures in its fund balance. Just to reiterate, in 2014, the fund balance ended up at 4.4 million, 2015, 3.379 million, 2016, 2.3 million, 2017, 2.2 million, and in 2018, the fund ended the year with $71,916. I just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention to make sure we understand that this didn't seemingly happen within the last couple months. In fact, didn't even happen within the last year or two. There's something systemic that needs to be addressed, and I think that's what the board's tasked with at this point. I just wanted to make that comment.
Thank you. Anybody else, Rick?
I would just like to thank the finance committee, Mr. Keating and Lou for working so hard and getting this done for us. It's a lot of information you brought to light. It's very upsetting that some of the past president of this board just sat here and just didn't do anything about it. He had all this information in front of him, and it took a lot of digging for it to be brought forward. It's very sad, but I think we can get through it. And I thank you both again.
Thank you very much. Resolution for board members' comments? Anybody else?
The only thing we need to do is make a correction, I think, for our regular April meeting, April 13th.
Yes.
We won't be following the work session, correct? We'll just be doing a voting session.
No, we will have to, well, I mean, I have a couple questions for our Mark.
For exec.
For
Oh,
work
I got
session.
you. I got you. So we still will.
So
I would do that in the work session or in the voting session. When it comes up time for the
What-
contract to come up, you can ask them to come up and talk about it.
oh, okay. All right. Yeah, that's fine. Absolutely.
Okay.
You know, I mean, you're doing the work session. If you wanted to do another work session, you could, but I don't think it'd be necessary. You could ask them questions prior to voting. If you have them come, you know, and after public comments or even before public comments, so that if you want to let citizens comment on what they present to you, you could ask them to give you a presentation or talk to you about it.
And just do it on a roll call vote?
Well, you know, you would do, well, I mean, yes, if you wanted to carve it out separate, if you wanted to carve out that item separate, you would simply ask the chairman, I want, you know, item number 8 to be roll call voted instead of just.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
All
So
right.
clarification, then next month is just executive session and then right into voting session?
If you're calling an executive session before.
Next meetings, work session Wednesday, April 13th, 2022, at 7 p.m. Regular April meeting, April 13th, 2022, following work session. And we need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,